Governor, don't go too far because I'm riding with you to the next event.
I know, and I'm not if we had the heat in this room, it might actually,
You might get some
sap
sap.
might
Yeah,
run.
yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Chuck Ross. I'm the Secretary of the Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets. And I just want to thank the Governor for the privilege and opportunity to serve in this position at this time in Vermont and be able to work on this particular issue. As a Vermont boy, I have witnessed the changes in our waters, in particularly Lake Champlain. I had the chance to tour Missisquoi Bay this last August at the height of its bloom. The surface of the Missisquoi Bay is 6% of the surface of Lake Champlain. And when I traveled over that bay in a motorboat, a lot nicer than mine, we covered much of that bay, and there wasn't a single part of that bay where the wake of that motorboat didn't roll green. When we were at the mouth of the Rock River, we saw coagulated chunks of blue-green algae half the size of my fist, 3/4 of a mile from a Vermont-based business that relies upon clean water. So if people wonder whether that's a problem, they should have been there, and I wish many of us could have been. Unfortunately, many of us have already seen that. And that was underscored for me as a Vermont boy who's grown up on Lake Champlain when I went down to my part of the lake, the deep water part of the lake. About a week later, and I looked off across the lake in my not quite so powerful motorboat, and I saw something that I couldn't understand that was on the surface of the water. And so my family and I and our friends motored over there, and what we discovered was a bank of blue-green algae floating in a deeper part of the lake just south of Westport. And that underscored for me that this lake is different than it was when I was a boy catching frogs along its shores and catching perch and in and out of the water all day long, all over the part of the lake that I live. So I'm here to say a couple of things. First, I want to thank all of you that are in this room and beyond for recognizing the importance of clean water in the state of Vermont. Not only as a statewide resource, but as a personal, individual resource that touches all of us, is important to all of us. And I want to thank you for being advocates for our clean water, because it is a precious resource and one that we depend on in so many ways. And most importantly, in my role as the Secretary, I want to thank you all for moving beyond the finger pointing and being part of a conversation around solutions. The easy thing to do is look at somebody else and say, this is your fault and you need to do something about it. The harder thing to do is recognize we're all part of the same community and work together to help one another get the job done right. This historically, I think we can say, as a state writ large, all of us in the legislative process, in the advocacy world, and our roles as citizens, have made promises about water quality and elevated our expectations for years. But we, as a state writ large, all those same people and organizations I just referred to, have promised good water quality, but have under-resourced those promises. Now, I'm going to share the one that I confronted when I came into the agency. I came in as a secretary in 2011, and the first conversation I had before I drew a paycheck was David Mears about water quality. I've had conversations every day in my job about water quality since that day, and when I walked into the agency, I recognized that we had 4 people to inspect, monitor, work with the 7,300 farms in the state of Vermont as defined by the USDA. Or let's cut that in half and just call 4,000 farms. 4 people, those 4 people are dedicated to LFOs and MFOs, large farm operations and medium farm operations. And we had nobody allocated to the Agency of Agriculture, to the Agency of Natural Resources, our partner here, Trey Martin, to talk about the AAPs when they were passed back in the mid-90s, or to work on small farm operations in 2011. That is an example of under-resourcing the promises and expectations for clean water that we've all been a part of. But I'm proud to say, and we're part of the Shumlin administration, following the lead of our governor who just left, in proposing a historic initiative to address clean water in our state. It's built upon three concepts: stewardship, partnership, and accountability. We all must participate in all three of those concepts. We all must practice better stewardship. We all must collaborate and partner to amplify our individual and our collective efforts. And we all must help and hold each other accountable for our action, our outcomes, and our progress. And this commitment around these concepts is coupled with a historic compilation of resources that the governor alluded to. A historic, huge sum of resources that we are putting together in this proposal that's in part represented by House Bill 35 and the TMDL plan the governor submitted to the EPA. This is going to require all of us to make our contributions, all of us to participate, because this has to be an all-in effort. Everybody in. All people, all sectors, all players, all stakeholders. We have to change the culture and adopt a new one around water quality, reflecting our commitments to stewardship, partnership, and accountability. And I'll tell you, as the Secretary of Agriculture, who works with the Vermont ag community all the time, and my staff, some of whom are in this room, who work with them every single day, I'm pleased to recognize the proactive commitment of the agriculture community to addressing this challenge. From farmers to farm organizations, to businesses that serve the agriculture community, to the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, to the USDA. The stakeholders in all those groups are committed and interested in making a contribution and being part of the solution. That is enormously significant. I've had leaders in the farm community say, show us the way, we want to contribute. They're willing to put their money where their mouth is and be part of the solution, not only in the fees and proposals that are being put forth in this building, but in the practices they orchestrate and operate every day on their farms. So the community of agriculture is on board. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of our Vermonters who are part of that community. And with the help of our governor and his leadership, our congressional delegation that has been stupendous, the legislature in this building who has been urging and pushing on this issue for years, but most importantly, and I want to underscore, most importantly, the people of the state of Vermont, the individual citizens that comprise the society that we're a part of. I want to ask all of those people to be part of this partnership with the ag community as one of those partners to take this issue on, to improve the waters of the state of Vermont. And as the governor said, in the Vermont way, not the EPA way, not because somebody's telling us to do it, because we know we should do it, and we're going to figure out how to do it as Vermonters in a way that works for all of us. Thank you very much.